Hey, it's Jordan. I am here with Brad McCurdy, and you are one of the workers on strike down in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's the first manufacturing strike in about 3 years. And you and your colleagues, about 1,700 of you, started on strike this week because the plant you work at, a longtime General Electric plant, was merged with another company called, I think, Webcam or Webtech. And
Wabtec,
Wabtec, yes.
which is short for Westinghouse air brake technology.
Right. So kind of talk to me about how long did you guys know this merger was going to happen, and what were you told about it as far as hours, benefits, pay versus what has ended up happening?
I think we, I don't know, maybe it's been close to a year before we knew the GE was planning on spinning us off, and shortly thereafter, the Wabtec name kept coming up, and then it kind of rolled into, okay, this is happening, and uh, right out the get go, we were all kind of optimistic, maybe naively, well, definitely naively, and because everyone within the facility was telling us that they have a rich history of acquiring successful businesses and pretty much leaving them alone and just letting them continue to make money for their corporation. So we were like, oh, well, this sounds good. Maybe we won't be in this struggle like we have been with GE forever, and a company is going to buy us out and appreciate the profit and the work we do, and we won't have such a struggle on our hands. But boy, it looks like we were wrong.
Right, and it looks like they want to cut wages for new hires by 38%. They want to mandate more overtime, and they also, one thing that really hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but a lot of these companies, including General Motors and other manufacturing companies, have been doing is setting up kind of this two-tier system where they could bring in more temporary workers. Can you kind of talk about a lot of the cuts and sacrifices they're asking you guys to make?
Well, yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting, that they can be making the profits that they're making, and you know, try and gut punch our community into taking such concessions, whether it's the hourly wage or the working conditions themselves. And they try and paint a cloud that they're going to pay decent money to all the new hires and all the recalled members at wages that are above what's normal in our region. But that's unfair to say, and that's an unfair comparison because there's no one in our region their size and making their kind of profits. So to me, that seems underhanded to use that as a benchmark. Um, they're asking us to sell our community down the river and family sustaining good jobs down the river, and it's just not right.
Want to read, unsurprisingly, Bernie Sanders is joining in the fray here. So he wrote to the CEO, Raymond Bettler of
Yeah,
Wabtec, saying, "Let me be clear, Wabtec is not a poor company. It's not going broke. Through the first 3 quarters of last year, Wabtec made 256 million profit and had enough money to give you, the CEO, a 3.5 million dollar compensation package.
right.
This year, total revenue for Wabtec is expected to exceed 7.7 billion. So it kind of comes down to this issue of, I think we're talking bigger scale, uh, labor, manufacturing workers in America have been attacked basically since the early 80s. Uh,
Corporate greed, plain and
right.
simple.
So let me ask you then, because I just got back from Detroit and Ohio covering the General Motors layoffs there, 15,000 workers, and you're seeing, I think you're seeing more talk and more loud talk of possibly unions coordinating together and working
Yeah,
together, not just nationally but globally,
correct.
because What are your thoughts on obviously your fight in Erie, Pennsylvania, but labor unions across the country because these corporations have been getting away with this all-out attack for a long time.
Yeah, the attack on the middle class is rampant. It's nationwide, it's global wide, and it's disgusting. And there's got to be a line in the sand drawn, and we're doing that here.
And can you kind of talk about this plant? It's a General Electric plant. I think it's been there for like 80 years. Talk about the community around. Like, how does this affect the community as far as the wage cuts and
Yeah.
some of the more regressive things that they're trying to do?
It's a big deal. Unfortunately, the company's really good at manipulating the media and attempting to manipulate the community. Um, but our our resolve will be, unmatched. They don't know how determined we are to show the community uh, that they're not portraying themselves honestly, and I think the community is starting to see it.
And I want to ask you because you see this narrative mainly from conservatives that these unions are out of control. These manufacturing workers they're making too much and they get too much in benefits, this and that. I don't really think most of you are like going on 3 vacations a year out of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Exactly, exactly. Every blue collar wrench turner, every man and woman that works in that plant is by no means, uh, living some kind of extravagant lifestyle. I guess if you, if you drive a decent vehicle and pay your bills on time, uh, you know, that must be too much for them. I don't know.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. There's nobody working inside that plant, um, working an hourly wage, getting rich.
Right. And I know talking to some of the General Motors workers I was talking about, some of them after like 8, 9 hour day go drive Ubers. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, there's some workers that
There's
even
a
with,
lot of people in this plant that have two jobs.
right. Can you kind of talk about, I don't want to make it about the presidential election, but obviously Trump, he won Pennsylvania. He had appealed to a lot of blue collar workers. And, I don't really see a lot of plants reopening, which he said. Can you kind of talk about in Pennsylvania? Obviously, he talked to like steel country and those kinds of things. Are you seeing any changes in your part of Pennsylvania as far as industry coming back?
Boy, I wish I could say yes, but there's work, but there's not good paying. There's not enough family sustaining jobs. There's the wages that corporate America wants to pay a blue collar worker just isn't getting it done. And they need to realize that we're willing to fight for better benefits, better wages, and to keep our communities with a little bit of spending money to put back into the community.
hmm And when you see the wider Democratic Party over the last, I'd say, 10 to 20 years, they haven't exactly been embracing labor unions. Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, and
Yeah.
I don't really see Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer like standing on picket lines. What would you like to see out of whether it's the Democratic Party or just politicians in general, as far as what you're dealing with? Because we all know that they are very much taking money from the General Electrics and the General Motors of the world.
Yeah, I don't quite know how to answer that other than that I just hope that they see what's going on and can truthfully look themselves in the mirror and say that they are willing to fight for blue collar, family sustaining jobs. I don't care whether it's Republicans or Democrats. Historically, Republicans don't support labor unions like a Democratic Party does. But I don't care what party they're affiliated with. They need to realize that the struggle is real on our end, and we're tired of taking concessions while corporate America gets bonuses and gets richer off our backs and off our labor.
Hmm.
It's, it's disgusting.
And what's your message? There's a lot of workers, unions and non-unions, that are afraid to go on strike for fear of getting fired, losing their health care benefits, other things. The capitalist system doesn't exactly, favor workers. What's your message to people in other, not just the Rust Belt, but other states that, I just read a story, obviously Amazon, you hear people pissing in bottles for fear of taking too long of a bathroom break. There's other
Yeah,
horror,
boy.
other horror stories at Walmart. I just read a story about Facebook contractors who, are working under terrible conditions. What's your message to other workers that are kind of like envious of what you guys are doing?
I would say that there's strength in numbers, and don't be afraid to organize. Uh, there's an old union saying, and it rings as true today as it did whenever it was created, and that's, you know, united we bargain and divided we beg,
Mm,
and boy is it true.
right.
Um, you got to fight, and you got to fight together, and you got to make a stand, and that's what we're trying to do.
And last question, I should have asked earlier. Can you kind of talk about, obviously you guys are a locomotive plant, but what's your calling card? Like, what should people know about what you've been able to manufacture out of there for so many years?
We're the greatest manufacturers of locomotives in the world. We take raw material, raw steel, and create the best locomotives in the world. To there's no comparison. You can't go anywhere else and see what we do here. And not only that, but how well we do it and how profitable we are for this company.
Hmm. And one more. So when you see Bernie Sanders, obviously he's not there as of now, but already coming out, what does that say to you when actual presidential candidates, politicians, they don't equivocate, they don't like put out a feeble statement, but they are very strongly standing with you? What does that say to you and your colleagues?
I think it's great. We'll take all the support we can get.
And for people who don't live in Pennsylvania or that location, what do you guys want to see uh, as way of support? Donations, just social media support. What are you guys looking for?
All everything you just said. Whether you stop by and give us a cup of coffee or honk your horn, any support is good support,
And how
and
co- and
we,
how,
we
how
we thrive off that.
how cold is it that you're going to be standing out all day today?
It's 14 degrees right now.
Well, labor hopefully gives you a little heat. Thank you,
Absolutely, we're not afraid. We'll be
thank
here
you,
as long as it takes.
thank you, Brad. Let's keep in touch so I could update the audience. I appreciate it.
Okay, partner. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.